Here we go. The external technical root cause analysis of CrowdStrike. Let's learn the exact details of what has gone wrong. This report elaborates on the information previously shared in our preliminary post-incident review, going into further depths of the finding, mitigations, technical details, and root cause analysis of the incident. As of July 29 at 5 p.m. PT, using a week-over-week comparison, 99% of Windows sensors are online compared to before the content update. 10 days later, and there's still variance of 1%. That's crazy. When was CrowdStrike struck? That's like wild. 1% of people could be removing it. True. Throughout this RCA, we have used generalized terminology to describe the CrowdStrike Falcon platform for improved readability. Terminology and other documentation may be more specific and technical. Okay, good. Dumbing it down. Giving us that 12-page dumbed-down PDF. Let's go. What happened? CrowdStrike Falcon sensor delivers powerful on-sensor AI and machine learning models to protect customer systems by identifying and remediating the latest advanced threats. These models are kept up to date and strengthened with learnings from the latest threat telemetry from the sensor and human intelligence from Falcon Adversary Overwatch. XQC mentioned, XQC potentially mentioned, Falcon Complete and CrowdStrike Threat Detection Engineers. The rich set of security telemetry begins as data filtered and aggregated on each sensor into a local graph store. Okay, I don't know what that means, but it sounds like they say, we read everything you do. Okay, we got that. Each sensor correlates context from its local graph store with live system activity into behavior and indicators of attack, IOAs, in the ongoing process of refinement. This refinement process includes a sensor detection engine combining built-in sensor content with rapid response content. Man, there's so many effing capital letters in here. How many of the, dude, Bob, do you know Chris Farley? Have you ever watched, what's it called, Dirty Works with Chris Farley? Okay, we're doing it. Where's Chris Farley? Chris Farley.
Blah, 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 blah.
That's all I'm hearing, as I'm seeing this amount of capital letters. It's just blah, 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 blah. All right, the rapid response content is delivered through channel files and interpreted by Sensor's content interpreter using a regular expression-based engine. What? Oh my, no. What? You couldn't even build your own parser? Oh, regex license here. Let's just go to regexlicensing.org and let's just do a quick little thing here. Let's see, licenses. No, it doesn't look like they have a license. They do not have a license to do what they're doing. You know that some lawyer is going to clip this out, and during the lawsuit of CrowdStrike, they're going to be like, as you can see, on regexlicense.org, they in fact do not contain a license at this time, and so part of their failure was due to the fact that they were actually out of license with the Regular Expression Licensing Organization. You know it's gonna happen. You know it's gonna happen. Just yapping. But this is crazy. Regular Expression Engine? What? What? You have running at startup on your Windows machine something that parses using oh my gosh. I'm dying, man. I'm dying. Each rapid response content channel file is associated with a specific template type built into the sensor release. The template type provides the content interpreter with the activity and graph context to be matched against the rapid response content. Man, they have buzzwords. I've never seen this many buzzwords in my lifetime. There's just so much buzzing. With the release of Sensor version 7.11 in February 2024, CrowdStrike introduced a new template type to enable visibility into a detection of novel attack techniques, the abuse named pipes, and other Windows inter-process communication, IPC. Okay, I've inter-process communicated before. Okay, it's not my first rodeo. I've filed descriptor once or twice in my lifetime. As outlined in the PIR, the new IPC template type was developed and tested according to our standard sensor content development process and was integrated into the sensor to prepare for utilization in the field. So what they're trying to say is they actually tested nothing? Is that what they're trying to say? Because last time I checked, I mean, this is truly Olympic gold level yapping going on right now, just to say that they're trying to cover their asses in the sense saying that channel file 291 was in fact developed and ran in no other way different than channel file 290, 289, 288, assuming they just are literally in order. 291 is just the 291th file. Anyways, I don't know. The IPC template instances are delivered as rapid response content to sensors via the corresponding channel file number 291. The new IPC template type defined 21 input parameter fields, but the integration code that invoked the content interpreter with channel file 291's template instances supplied only 20 input values to match against. I just hope with all of the deepness, dude, nobody even put if args.length does not equal expected length. Like, that's not even a thing. It's one line. It's the simplest line in the universe. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful right now. It was not a null error, guys. It was not a null error. That's what they did say, that it was not a null error. Little shocking that it's not a null error. This parameter count mismatch evaded multiple layers of build validation and testing. Just the man. I didn't realize that this multiple argument attack was the Dave Chappelle playing Prince basketball thing. Just unguardable defense or unguardable offense going on there. Oh, this is so good. And it was not discovered during the sensor release testing process. How? Did you not call it? Like, isn't that all you'd have to do is just call the thing? Game. Blouses. The template type using the test template instance, stress testing, or the first several successful deployments of IPC template testing instances in the field. In part, this was due to the use of a wildcard matching criteria. Oh my goodness, let's go. We actually have a regex issue. Gosh, this never has felt better. It's never felt better being so vindicated at the fact that regexes are just the devil every single time. Every time. They're the devil. They've been the devil. They will be the devil. They are the actual devil. Regexes on parameters, people. Regex and kernel code should be illegal. And I'm going to tweet that now. Regex in kernel code should be illegal. Boom. Posting it. Just right there on the internet for all the internet to see. This is great. This is, let's see, to the use of a wildcard matching criteria for the 21st input during testing and in the initial IPC template instances. On July 19th, 2024, 2 additional IPC template instances were deployed. One of these introduced a non-wildcard matching criterion for the 21st input parameter. They changed to regex. Oh, they changed to regex! The day of redemption is at hand. Repent, and thou shalt be saved. These new template instances resulted in a new version of channel file 291 that would now require the sensor to inspect the 21st input parameter. Until this channel file was delivered to the sensors, no IPC template instance in previous channel versions had made use of the 21st input parameter field. The content validator evaluated the new template instance, but based its assessment on the expectation that IPC template type would provide 21 inputs. Oh, that is so good. This is so dang good. They tested with only valid input. Change the regex, change your tests, called it a day. Hang up the hat, people. You know what the best part is? You know for a fact, 100%, absolutely without a fail, someone updated this to be a non-wildcard match. It broke a test. They fixed the test. And that's it. You know that happened. You know for a fact that happened, that someone fixed the test. And they're like, well, the unit tests work. You know they rewrote the test and just made that crap passed. TDD strikes them with the good. Yeah, they rismed with the tism. They did. One of the biggest mistakes is not to make your existing test pass first. Correct. Classic bamboozle. All right, sensors that received the new version of the channel file 291 carrying the problematic content were exposed to a latent out-of-bounds read issue in the content interpreter. A latent? What does the word latent mean in this case? When they say latent, do they mean it only happened when they pushed to production because all their tests were good? Is that what they're trying to say? This is corporate. This is like HR level yapping, lawyer yapping for saying shit happened in production that didn't happen when we tested it. At the next IPC notification from the operating system, the new IPC template instances were evaluated, specifying a custom or a comparison against the 21st input value. The content interpreter expected only 20 values. Therefore, the attempt to access the 21st value produced an out-of-bounds memory read beyond the end of the input data array and resulted in a system crash. You're telling me there is a hard-coded read at the 21st value without even checking the length of the array? I mean, it's probably in C, so they probably pass in the length of the array. Is this not just like standard programming? I know we're all, by the way, dunking on these people. I'm sure I would have made the same mistake too. If we can be completely fair, I would have probably made the same mistake, but nonetheless. Sounds like a time for Rust. No, you'd made the same problem with Rust, wouldn't you? I would have made the same problem, but it's very fun to dunk on this. Anyways, in summary, it was the confluence of these issues that resulted in a system crash. REGEX. Checking a length of an array without checking or grabbing the 21st element without checking the length of the array. Boom. Wow. That's a confluence. That's a real confluence of unforeseeable problems coming in. I like how they like talk about it like it's like some amazing just factors coming in all over the place when it's just like, yeah, or you could have just done the check. The perfect storm of not checking my bounds. Anyways, all right, let's see. Let's keep on going. Inputs validated by the content validator versus the 20 provided to the content interpreter. The latent out-of-bounds read issues on the content interpreter and the lack of specific tests for non-wildcard matching criteria in the 21st field. Wow, this scenario with channel file 291 is now incapable of reoccurring. It also informs process improvements and mitigation steps that CrowdStrike is deployed to ensure further enhanced resilience. That was like politician level yapping to say they're going to check the length of an array. Delta is going to sue their ass. It's coming in, dude. This is getting good. All right, findings and mitigation. The number of fields in the IPC template type was not validated at sensor compile time. At the time of the incident, the sensor code for the IPC template type described 20 different input sources for use by the template instance. This means that when the sensor wanted to make a detection decision based on the IPC template type, the sensor code would apply 20 different input sources to the content interpreter. However, the definition of the IPC template type in the template type definitions file stated that it expected 21 input fields. I'm going to be real here. Given the fact that you're building a system that's just shoving all these inputs, I don't even know what inputs are, putting all these inputs, something that is specified, hard-coded, shall we say, you think you'd have some sort of external check here. Something about this has to say this has to be known at compile time. All of this to prevent Kevin in accounting from infecting everything via his porn addiction. Yo, Kevin, you gotta lay off the porn, man. You gotta quit doing it on the company laptop, too. This definition resulted in template instance in channel file 291 that expected to operate on 21 inputs. This mismatch was not detected during development of the IPC template type. I want to know why. Can we double click on that? Why did this not understand? The test cases in rapid response content used to test the IPC template types did not trigger a fault during feature development or during testing of the sensor. It must be because you tested with the correct length. It must be because there was a test that failed and then you made it unfail by ensuring that the length was correct in the tests. You know for a fact that's happened. I refuse to believe they don't have tests. I refuse to believe it. I know some people are like, what test? No, Alex. There's definitely tests. Mitigate. Validate the number of input fields in the template type at sensor compile time. How do you get to the point of having 20 inputs and not going, hey, man, hey, Bill, I got a wild idea. You know, like 20 inputs is a lot of inputs, and we say it. Do you think we should validate that? Hey, Bill, should we validate that? Is the template type just is just a YAML file that's like, yo, I need 21 inputs. Just one more, bro. Just one more input, bro. Bro, just one more input. Why would we? We've never been wrong before. Plus, what's the worst that could happen? A patch for the sensor content compiler that validates the number of inputs provided by a template type was developed on July 19th, 2024. Shocking. Shocking that it was developed day of. And went into production July 27th, 2024 as part of CrowdStrike's internal build tooling. The sensor content compiler patch also verified that no other template types were providing an incorrect number of inputs on any platform. Well, hey, are we good? At least they're learning their lessons. A runtime array bounds check was missing. I just want you to think for a second about having to write this out. That they're just like, yo, we forgot to look at the length. Also, I know people are saying that Rust would have caught this, but you know for a fact they would have been using a VEC, low-level learning, and they would have just hard-coded an access. I think they would have literally just hard-coded access 21 in a VEC, and they would have blown the world, right? It's not hard to make this exact same explodiator in Rust if you're dumb about it. Foo21, yeah, this is valid VECing, right? Right? Because they weren't using length at all to do any form of access. They literally had 21. Give me that. Not doing this would have prevented this. Yep, it's true. To be fair, if they do this, it's amazing. This is the first time they fucked this up. This is so true. They've been operating for how many years, and this is their first time mismatching the length? It's actually very impressive. All right. The content interpreter performed an out-of-bounds read of an input array that is not an arbitrary memory write issue and has been independently reviewed. Thank you. I'm glad somebody... I wonder what that independent reviewing was. Yeah, that's 20. That's a 21. Caught it. It says 21 right there. There's not 21. Not a 21. Cool. Mitigation. Add runtime input array bounds check to the content interpreter for rapid response content and channel file 29. Okay, first off, this is not the mitigation. The mitigation is to add runtime input array bounds check. The end. What do you mean for this specific one? How about all of them? How about every last content channel file or whatever the hell these things are? Maybe it would be best to never goof this up again. I like how the response is literally to add that if statement. Imagine that's your response. You know what the problem is? We didn't put an if statement in this one spot. That's the big problem. Other spots, that doesn't happen in other places. Just here. This is the only place we've gotten off by one. Beautiful. Bounds checking was added to the content interpreter function that retrieves input strings on July 25th, 2024. The additional checks that, man, it took how many days to add that if statement? July 19th? 6 days. 6 days to get that in. You think adding your button over 2 weeks was bad, man. This was just an if statement. And yikes. The code must be difficult to work in. I assume it's very, very difficult to work in. To be completely fair, I'm sure just simply putting in a bounds check is not the end of it, because then you have to do something like, how do you maintain some sort of state because it's reading stuff? I'm sure there's like an entire difficult world that exists, right? Template, instance, Scrum, planning, poker, retro, postmortem, RCA. An additional check that the size of the input array matches the number of inputs expected by the rapid response content was added at the same time. These fixes are being backported to all Windows sensors version 7.11 and above, and through a sensor software hotfix release. This release will be generally available August 9th and will be released globally all at once. Trust us, we have yet to screw everything up on a single release. The added bounds check prevents the content interpreter from performing an out-of-bounds access of the input array and crashing the system. The additional checks add a layer of runtime validation that the size of the input array matches the number of inputs expected by the rapid response content. We have completed fuzz testing of channel 291 template type and are expanding it to additional rapid response content handlers in the sensor. Okay, nice. Mitigation. Correct the number of inputs provided by the IPC template. Yeah, I mean that's a good way to do things. I actually agree with this. I agree with what they're saying. The sensor code defining the IPC template type was updated to provide the correct number of inputs, 21. This fixes This fix is being backported to all Windows Sensors version 7.11 and above through the Sensor software hotfix release. By the way, the fact that they don't have some super cool buzzword for this one with all capital letters, real disappointment right now. This release will be generally available by August 9th, 2024. All right, number 3, template type testing should cover a wider variety of matching criteria. Findings, both manual and automated testing were performed during the development of the IPC template type. This testing was focused on functional validation of the template type, including the correct flow of security-relevant data through it, and evaluation of the data to generate appropriate detection alerts based on criteria created in development test cases. Did you not test the IPC template type? Isn't that where it was only 20? When you did all this testing, did you just not test the thing? Wild. Automated testing leveraged internal and external tooling to create the required security relevant data needed to exercise the IPC template type under all supported Windows versions within a broad subset of the expected operational use cases. For automated testing, a static set of 12 test cases was selected to be representative of a broader operational expectations and to validate the creation of telemetry and detection alerts. Part of this testing included defining a channel file for use within the test cases. Ooh, are you hearing that? Are you hearing that? Defining a channel file for use within the test case. They're not testing the thing. This, my friends, is called a mock. The mock version worked. I feel like it's almost like we just got done watching an hour-long video where I say why mocking is the devil. Anyways, the selection of the data in the channel file was done manually and included a regex wildcard matching criterion in the 21st field for all template instances. Oh my gosh, it's almost like the mock fell out of date with, they actually had a mock channel file of 291 is what I'm hearing. That was the previous version with the wildcard still there. The test was not reality. They actually tested that the fake reality, in fact, did work, meaning the execution of these tests during development and release builds did not expose the latent out-of-bound read in the content interpreter when provided with 20 rather than 21 inputs. Happy case testing right there. Mitigation, increased test coverage during template type development. That's your mitigation? Okay. Yep. I agree. I think, obviously, your test coverage is really the problem. That's the problem. For sure. Hopefully they can do some tests for the tests. So they don't know if their detection methods actually work, or do they actually not test it against actual malware. I think what they're saying is that they don't test their channel files. They test a test version of the channel files. That's what I'm reading. Is it's not, because channel file 291 or whatever it is, 291 contained during its first iteration a wildcard in the 21st position, meaning that if there's nothing to match, it would still provide an empty match back out. Whereas this one, on the other hand, did not have a wildcard when it had a specific shape, and thus it didn't match anything, thus providing only 20 arguments instead of 21 arguments. But the test still was in the older format with the wildcard. So the test is literally a copy pasta, at least this is how I read it, a copy pasta of some sort of channel file 291. All right. To confirm that we are validating all fields in each template type, automated tests have been created that test with non-wildcard matching criteria for each field. This step has been done for all existing template types and is required for all future template types. Additionally, all future template types include test cases with additional scenarios that better reflect production usage. I actually have a really crazy test. Are you guys ready for my really crazy test? That you can turn on a Windows machine. Hear me out here. Imagine you actually had a test where the machine tried to turn on. It went from off to on with the latest version. CrowdStrike, I would be glad to accept, I think, a VP of engineering position with this type of ideas here, okay? These type of ideas right now, these are groundbreaking. These are innovative. These are what the Valley are made out of, okay? Because if you want ideas that are going to change the world, then you need somebody who's willing to take on the world head first, unburdened by what has been. Because if your ideas do not go against the world, then the world is not against your ideas. Thank you. And thank you. I'm pretty deep. I'm a deep man. The content validator contained a logic error. Classic findings. The content validator evaluated the new template instances. However, it based its assessment on the expectation that the IPC template type would be provided with 21 inputs. This resulted in the problematic template instance being sent to the content interpreter. I do think it's really strange, just kind of reading this, that they have these template types and then they have these IPC template files. They're like kind of like, disjointed from each other. It sounds confusing. Yeah, you can call me Oppenheimer. You wouldn't get it. Mitigation. Create additional checks in the content validator. Great. Stellar research. Hey, no, we need more. All right, the validator is being modified to add new checks to ensure that content in template instances does not include matching criteria that matched over more fields than are being provided as input to the content interpreter. This fix will be released to production by August 19th, 2024. Oh, okay, let's keep going. Mitigation. Prevent the creation of problematic channel 291 files. Okay, I think I'm under. Is channel 291? Is that just like an attack archetype? Is that what that means? I think I'm slowly kind of understanding this. This is very J Diesel. I'm still trying to draw this box around what a channel file is. The content validator was modified to only allow wildcard matching criteria in the 21st field, which prevents out-of-bounds access in the sensors that only provide 20. Number 5, template instance validation should expand to include testing within the content interpreter. Findings. Newly released template types are stress tested across many aspects, such as resource utilization, system performance impact, and detection volume. For many template types, including the IPC template type, this is the inter-process communication template type, a specific template instance is used to stress the template type by matching against any possible value of the associated data fields to identify adverse system interactions. A stress test of the IPC template type with a test template instance was executed in our test environment, which consists of a variety of operating systems and workload. The IPC template type passed the stress test and was validated for use. The template instance was released to production as part of the rapid response content update. However, the content validator tested template instances do not observe that the mismatched number of inputs would cause a system crash when provided to the content interpreter by the ICP template type. This is still news anchor level yapping to say that they don't test with the things they use in production. That's like what I'm currently reading. I still just don't see the fact that they just... Can we just have a production environment? Can you just turn on and off a PC and then turn it back on again? Mitigation. Update content configuration system test procedures. Mocking. I know this is a problem of mocking, I swear. The content configuration system has been updated with new test procedures to ensure that every new template instance is tested, regardless of the fact that the initial template instance is tested with the template type at creation. This provides template instances with additional testing prior to production deployment. Okay. Template instances should have staged deployment. Okay, now we're getting actually to some real good things here. Okay, this right here is really good. Each template instance should be deployed in a staged rollout. Let's see, mitigation. The content configuration system has been updated with additional deployment layers and acceptance checks. Staged deployment mitigates impacts if a new template instance causes failures such as system crashes, false positive detection, volume spikes, or performance issues. Oh my gosh, I just thought of something. You know what would be a great upsell? CrowdStrike. Again, remember that whole VP part? Remember that VP part? Here's what I'm thinking. Me and you, CrowdStrike, VP of engineering here. You could upsell companies to not be the ones getting tested on. Think about it, CrowdStrike. That's blackmail. Opt out of beta. Yeah, no. Hey. This is not blackmail, okay? This is simply opting out of the cutting edge protection, okay? If you wish to opt out of bleeding edge protection against your production environment, you can, but it's going to cost because it disallows investigation for the purpose of data gathering on behalf of CrowdStrike. This is when Windows charges extra to stay on older versions of Windows for businesses. Yeah, it is. Yeah, so pay more for less security? Now you're thinking. Or I guess you could invert it. You could have them say this one. You could hear me out. You could pay for CrowdStrike's newest security package called Content Stabilization and Testing Performance. You got to come up with a lot of words that actually don't mean anything. And what that actually means is that you just don't get the newest content first. Content Stabilization and Testing Performance, yeah, the CSATP. Dude, the CSATP is it's a very popular package among hospitals. It's only $2,000 a month. New template instances that have been past canary testing are to be selectively promoted to wider deployment rings and rolled back if problems are detected. Each ring is designed to identify and mitigate potential issues before wider deployment. Promoting a template instance to the next successive ring is followed by additional baked-in time, where telemetry is gathered to determine the overall impact of the template instance on the endpoint. Man, how much do you want to bet that these same companies get tested on? I just feel like that has to be true. Just based on how they've run, oh man, I guarantee you it's always going to be Bill and Charlene getting tested on every single time. They're like, why is CrowdStrike crashing all the time for us? The Falcon platform has been updated to provide customers with increased control over the delivery of rapid response content. Customers can choose where and when rapid response content updates are deployed. We are continuing to enhance this capability to provide more granular control over rapid response content deployments, together with content update details via release notes, to which customers can subscribe. Independent third-party review. CrowdStrike has engaged 2 independent third-party software security vendors to conduct further review of the Falcon sensor code for both security and quality assurance. Damn. I wish I could be a security contractor right now. They had to be charging $10,000 an hour. This had to be beautiful. Additionally, we are conducting an independent review of end-to-end quality process from development through deployment. Both vendors my head just got so disgusting there. I was trying to come up with a joke, and I got as far as docking, and then I couldn't somehow make docking work right here, and it was just foul. I'm sorry about that, everybody. You could even see me stumbling on my words because my head was thinking about a joke. There's some joke in there, and I just couldn't make it happen. I couldn't make fetch happen, but I wanted to. Okay, I wanted to. All right, stop it. Both vendors have started reviews with an immediate focus on July 19th impacted code and process. I once heard a guy that tested on clients based on ID modulos something. Crazy, huh? Yeah, that'd be crazy to do at a Fortune 500 company in 2014. That'd probably definitely be crazy. I wouldn't even know who would do such a thing. Seems like that guy's probably ignorant. Technical details. All right, let's do this. Background and terminology. CrowdStrike delivers security content configuration updates to our sensors in 2 ways. Sensor content that is shipped with our sensors directly, and rapid response content that is designed to respond to the changing threat landscape at operational speed. Man, that is such a beautiful name, operational speed. Man, this is like, I'm pretty sure operational speed is faster than light, if I'm not mistaken. The processing of regex-based rapid response content on the sensor involves several components. Okay, we're back. Hey, we're back. Okay, I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing at the fact that it's regexes, okay? I'm not laughing. We're not laughing about the regexes. Content interpreter, parts of the sensor C++ code which can test input strings against regexes. It's just a for loop. Content interpreter, for loop. Template types contain predefined fields for threat detection engineers to leverage in rapid response content. Template types are expressed in code and compiled into sensor at build time. Okay. Template type definition files defines the parameters of each template type. This would have been really great to have, like, say at the top of the file. Could we all agree to that? Like, maybe this would have been better at the tippity top of this entire document where they yell these words at your face the entire time. Contain predefined fields for threat detection engineers to leverage the rapid response content. Template types are expressed in code and compiled into the sensor at build time. Template type definition files. It defines the parameters of each template type. Definitions in the file include information about which channel file will deliver the rapid response content for each template type, how many inputs the template type is meant to use, and what kind of data is required for each input. Sensor content determines how to combine security-relevant data with rapid response content in order to make certain detection decisions. Sensor content includes on-sensor AI and machine learning models, as well as template types. It is compiled as part of the sensor release. I think you have to say the word AI and machine learning models because that increases your valuation. I'm like 80% sure of that. Matching criteria developed, template instances. Matching criteria developed by detection engineers. Template instances consist of regex content intended, that's a hard one to read, for use with specific template type. Template instances identify specific data for use in security operations. Template instances are defined using a UI driven by template type definition file. They have a UI to build regexes. Is that what I'm hearing? Why would you dynamically load such templates at all? At kernel level with regexes. Why? Well, you got to think of it this way. Like, to be completely fair, what CrowdStrike is doing is not like is smart in the sense that why would you ever want to use JavaScript or Lua? Well, the reason why is that you have your actual platform that you're using, that you write, that runs all of your code, and then you have your UI or a way in which you can easily adjust it depending on needs, depending on customers, depending on new tests you want to run. They have effectively what I'm reading is the same thing. They have their engine that is their threat detection and everything, all that. And then they have their rapid content responses or their rapid response content, which is like, okay, hey, today we've discovered this brand new threat. We need to get this out to everybody as quickly as possible because this new threat could, compromise their system. And they go and they do that. That's how I read it. Think of their rapid response content like Lua or JavaScript. Rapid response content consists of multiple template instances bundled together. Rapid response content is delivered by channel file. Content validator checks the validity of the channel files against their definitions in the template type definitions file. Ironic that you had a content validator, yet you didn't check the length. Curious? So basically, they build a security library and custom scripting thingy that uses it to actually do stuff. Yeah. If you say it that way, you can just say a browser is simply just an engine to paint rectangles with a custom language to make those rectangles pretty. That's when you say it so barking style, then yeah, monosyllabic barking. Content configuration system. Used to create a template instances which are validated and deployed to the sensor through the mechanism called channel files. Okay, do we have channel file definitions? Damn, we don't have a channel file definition. I really wanted to see that. Kernel driver usage in security product. As outlined by David Weston at Microsoft Security Blog, security products in the Windows ecosystem, including the Falcon sensor, commonly leverage kernel drivers as core components of a robust security offering. Presence in the kernel offers rich visibility into the system-wide security relevant activities such as process and thread creation or files being written, deleted, and modified on disk. The interfaces exposed by the kernel allow CrowdStrike's drivers to enforce critical controls for a security product, such as inline prevention of malicious processes or blocking of malware files being written to disk. CrowdStrike's kernel driver is loaded from an early phase of the system boot to allow the sensor to observe and defend against malware that launches prior to the user mode processing starting. Okay, it makes sense. Okay, so every time you write a file, read a file, or try to delete a file, it effectively reads it and says, can you actually do this? Maybe I'm missing something. Why was only Windows affected? Because this was a Windows-only update for Windows IPC. There was a new threat detected with Windows interprocess communication. Thus, channel file 291, which apparently is the interprocess communication channel attack vector, was updated to include something where they removed a regex specification that was a wildcard matching into a matching that required something to be there. When the 21st parameter was in fact not there, they hard-coded an entry into that array, that input array, saying, hey, is the 21st element to do something? That caused a null exception. That blew up the universe. The end. All right? That's as far as I can tell what's happening. Providing up-to-date security content, e.g. CrowdStrike's rapid response content, to these kernel capabilities enables the sensors to defend systems against a rapidly evolving threat landscape without making changes to kernel code. Like I said, you can think of it like Lua or JavaScript. Rapid response content is configuration data. It is not code or kernel driver. CrowdStrike certifies each new Windows sensor released through the Windows Hardware Quality Labs program, which includes extensive testing through all required tests in Microsoft's Hardware Laboratory Kit, HLK, and Windows Hardware Certification Kit, HCK. And WHQL certification process marks the end of the comprehensive internal testing gauntlet involving functional tests, longevity tests, stress tests with fault injection, fuzzing, and performance tests. It only is missing one test, the turning it on test. It just really missed that one. It just that one test. If you could just turn it on, damn, it would have caught it. Damn. During the testing required for the Hweckle program, the sensors used the latest version of the channel files at the time of certification. As newer versions of Windows introduce support for performing more of these security functions in user space, CrowdStrike updates its agents to utilize this support. Significant work remains for the Windows ecosystem to support a robust security product that doesn't rely on kernel driver for at least some of its functionality. Damn. Oh, are you reading this right here? Now, I dislike Microsoft as much as the next guy. But this is hot potatoing what happened onto Microsoft. Well, if Microsoft would have just provided more robust controls, we could have utilized them. But alas, alack and alas, they didn't provide it. Hence the reason why our optimal rapid response content at operational speed, by the way, responded to threats in the field that were real, intangible, and could have affected perhaps 8.6 million people. But we saved them. But unfortunately, Windows did not provide us with the correct testing functionality, and it pains me to say it. We broke 8.5 million people. I'm not the issue, you are. Operational speed sounds like an agile term. It is. It has to be. It has to be. We are committed to working directly with Microsoft on an ongoing basis as Windows continues to add more support for security product needs in user space. Crash dump analysis. Okay, this is going to get to the part where we're probably not going to be able to understand. To illustrate how the new template instance in channel file 291 led to a system crash, we briefly examine a kernel crash dump for a system impacted by the problematic content. This expands on the crash analysis shared by David Wetson on Microsoft Security Blog. Opening the crash dump in Windows Kernel Debugger and using the standard analysis V command for quick summary, we see that the memory fault, also known as an access violation, bug check has occurred. Seg fault, rookie-ass seg fault. Hey, I know people say Rust fixed this, but you know what also fixes it? Zig and Tiger-style programming. Just saying. Boom roasted, and Zig works with C. Just saying. Or just cutting fewer corners. You know what also fixes it? An array check. Damn, you got me on that one. Note, by the way, I can't imagine the balls on the developer that's like input array, open bracket, 21, close bracket. Damn. I mean, that is some steely balls to be able to be like, I'm just gonna grab the 21st element, and there hence will be no checking at all here. Like, that is crazy that you could get that far. Note, unrelated debugging details are omitted for brevity, and the representative crash dumps is analyzed here. Variations of the dump exist depending on the details of the machine state. All right, so here we go. We got the little, this YOLO, I know, YOLO. Thank you, bug check analysis. Okay. Page fault in non-page area. Invalid system memory reference. This cannot be protected by try accept. I do not accept that. Typically, the address is just plain bad, or it is pointing at freed memory. Arguments, this thing memory referenced. Argument 2, that. x64, bit 0 set if the fault was due to a non-present PTE. Bit 1 set if the fault was due to write, clear if a read. Bit 3 set if the processor decided the fault was due to the corrupted PTE. Bit 4 set if the fault was due to attempted execute no execute PTE. All right, so these are the things we saw these on Twitter. These are just riddled on Twitter. I wish there could be maybe a little red text or something I could look at to understand because I don't look at Windows dumps, right? I don't look at Windows dumps, so I don't know what I'm looking at. Is there a highlighted portion? This automated triage identifies sysagent.cs as the driver performing the out-of-bounds memory access. Okay, you can see that right here. It was right in the middle. There it is. So image name this. Faulting module this. Process name this. I can't even... Yeah. So yeah, I'm struggling. Isn't it into those kind of dumps? Yeah, this looks very informative. Yeah, I'm sure it's informative if you know how to read it. I don't know. I don't know how to read Windows dumps. I just don't. In fact, one would argue I probably don't know how to read many dumps. Okay. CS agent sys. is CrowdStrike's file system filter driver, a type of kernel driver that registers with components of the Windows operating system to receive notifications of security relevant system activities in real time. Among the notification that CrowdStrike's driver registers for is a notification for the creation of named pipes. When the driver receives a named pipe notification, this data is combined with other contextual information about the system. This combined data is presented for evaluation against the template instance conveyed in channel file 291. All right. To look more closely at this process, we view the register state at the point of out-of-bounds memory read by restoring the trap frame and disassembling the preceding instruction to orient ourselves. Note, disassembly listing has been modified from the standard debugger output in order to annotate the code with illustrative symbol names. Okay, cool. Let's see. Note the trap does not contain all the registers. Some registers may be zero value, may be incorrect. All right, so we got some registers. We got some RAXs, RBXs, RCXs, and RDXs, RSIs, DSIs, RIPs. A lot of RIPs going on right here. All right, so what am I looking at? Okay, so this looks like we got some moves and we got some jumps. I don't get it. There's no debugger. I don't know what's happening here. Prior to, let's see, I honestly, I mean, I can like make some guesses here, but I don't really get what's happening. I feel you, yeah. The R8 deref. Okay, R8 deref. Okay, so we got this deref. We got this one. I'm not sure what does a deref. Is a test a deref? My assumption is no. We got to move. It's assembly. No, I mean, I know it's assembly. Second from the bottom. So the R9D D word pointer, R8. We do a move. We try to move this into this. Is that how you're supposed to read it? We move the value of whatever is in here into R8. Other way around. Move the contents of R8 into RD9. Okay. Move the contents of R8 into RD9. But there was no contents. Joke's on you. Prior to this code snippet, the context data from the named pipe notification has been prepared for the IPC template type as an array of 20 input pointers, each pointing to a string structure that holds a buffer address and a size value. This snippet intends to select one of the inputs to return its buffer address and size, according to an index specified by channel file 291. As we enter this code, the address of 20 input pointer array is held in register RAX, and registers R11 indicates that the input to be retrieved is at index 14, which that's hex 14, so that would be 16 plus 4, that's 20, right? Oh, no, that's 21st, right, because it's zero-based. My bad. Wait, is it? Am I doing this wrong? Is 14 hex 21st? Am I that bad at hex? I thought that'd be 16 plus 4. Oh, yeah, of course, because that's 20. 21st. I forgot. In fact, I do know how to. Okay, TJ might have been right. TJ might have been right that indexing at 0 was a mistake. Lua brain. I know my Lua brain just kicked in there for a second. Oh, please don't tell TJ. Please don't tell TJ. Examining the input array, we need to find an array of 20 pointers to input string structures, followed by a 21st value, which does not point to valid memory. Yeah. Okay. Too bad. After reading this invalid pointer into register R8, the control flow in the snippet above takes the first jump to address this, performs a null pointer check, and then attempts to read through the invalid pointer, resulting in an out-of-bounds read and a subsequent bug check. You know, it's good and fun to laugh at all of this and just realize the incompetence that is CrowdStrike, the fact that middle management and management and VPs and even engineers themselves all made mistakes at this point. Not one of them stood up for the correct process to be taken. And that's how we ended with 8.5 million systems being taken down. But the reality is, my friends would have done it too. But damn, I'm just saying, I feel bad for the people who had to spend hours upon days switching things back on. I feel bad for all the people that were affected by just negligence on behalf of CrowdStrike. And I'm going to feel bad that some low-level engineer probably lost their job because of this. They probably had to sign an NDA. They probably got a nice parting package, or maybe not even a parting package. They simply just signed an NDA and then they were enforced and then threatened by lawyers and kicked out of the, CrowdStrike. And I definitely feel bad about that. Because you know that the person that's affected is probably just some lowly engineer. And that's it. They probably lost their job. Some things, bad things happened. It just makes me, so it's all fun and games to laugh at, CrowdStrike in general. But man, there's definitely some bad days. There's definitely some bad days there for some of those engineers. So hey, feel bad for them. I hope they're doing well. I hope no one actually got fired. I hope everything went good. And hopefully this doesn't happen again, honestly, because this actually was really horrible. The amount of people that were in chat saying they had to restart like 100 computers, 200 computers. One person said they had to restart 5,000 computers. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Is it just me, or does rapid response content sound like a name the villain team would from Pokemon Universe? Maybe. What is this, by the way? Twitch DJ. What is Twitch DJ? What does that even mean? This is the same company that concluded with the CIA to pretend the Russian influence on the 2016 election. Yeah, I mean, well, there's no way that it wasn't intentional. I don't know about that. So I know the first part, they were definitely a part of things. But the second part, I don't know if I can't take what happened in 2016 and assume that this was intentional, right? That's too hard of a jump. That's too hard of a jump for me to make, if that makes sense. I don't know if this was intentional. Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is one of those really easy times that you can just simply say, let's delegate ignorance, or let's attribute ignorance instead of malice. I would say that this is definitely a very, very, it's ignorance. I would be shocked if it was anything else other than ignorance. Yeah, I think it's that's Occam's. It's not Occam's razor. It's Hanlon's razor. Yeah. Anyways, code reviews exist for a reason. Oh, I'm sure they had code reviews. Very, very simple. Code reviews definitely happened. The name is the skill issue again.